now the issue is, what is the significance of Bitcoin and what is the significance of Satoshi? Well, Satoshi is the Prometheus of digital energy. Well, Satoshi is kind of mythical character as well, but what did Satoshi do? Satoshi figured out how to manifest something of value in cyberspace forever and transfer it without the intermediary. So what does that really mean?
Bitcoin Zella stands out with its simplicity and clarity. We've crafted an experience that anyone can dive into, whether you're a crypto expert or just a new to the crypto world. Now guess who keeps his eye on us? The author of best-selling book Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. And we want to take this opportunity and thank all the people who trusted us, and we read every comment. And the best part, it's free. Subscribing now means you will get all new information for free. Don't just follow the trends, stay ahead of them. Subscribe to Bitcoin Zella today and enjoy the new edge. Michael Saylor, an American entrepreneur and co-founder of MicroStrategy, answers thought-provoking questions from Antonella Marty on science, technology, prosperity, innovation, and Bitcoin.
If you can put $1 of value in cyberspace, you can put $1 billion of value in the cyberspace. If you put $1 billion, you can put $1 trillion. In the last 15 years, we put $1.3 trillion. Well, there's $900 trillion of traditional wealth in the world. We have opened a portal. Satoshi opened a portal, a technique, and we started seeing economic energy moving from the analog world and the traditional world, the physical world, the analog world, into the digital world, to a pure digital representation. And that's like putting payloads in orbit, right? Like I put a satellite in orbit and it circles the Earth forever. I put a satellite almost in orbit. How long can you fly? 15 hours, and then your plane crashes. So almost in orbit is 15 hours, and in orbit is 15 billion years, as far as we know, right? So there's a pretty big difference between putting something in outer space versus putting it in space. And there's a big difference between putting something in cyberspace versus leaving it in real space. J.P. Morgan said he said gold is money, everything else is credit. What he meant was, if I hand a bar of gold to you that's worth $1 million, you have $1 million gold. But if I hand you a check that has $1 million written on it, you have an IOU. And if you go to the bank to cash the check, there may not be any money in the bank. You may not get your $1 million. But if you have the gold, you have the gold. The gold is the bearer instrument. It is the object. The check is monetary information. The gold is monetary energy. One of them is conservative. I gave you the gold bar. I don't have the gold bar. The check I wrote to you for $1 million, and you walked out of the room, so I wrote him $1 million check. And I wrote him $1 million check. And then I wrote another $1 million check. And now I'm a banker. I wrote $10 million of checks. I only have $1 million. I asked for 5% interest in each one. I maybe make myself $500,000 a year in interest off of money that doesn't exist. And I maintain, that's called fractional reserve banking. And I maintain, that illusion as long as I can. And when the illusion finally comes crashing to earth, right, all of my creditors are bankrupted, right, and the economy collapses.
Telegram founder and CEO Pavel Durov was detained by French authorities in relation to a search warrant targeting alleged violations of the encrypted messaging platform. According to Le Monde and other French media outlets, Durov was arrested at Le Bourget airport north of Paris after landing in his private jet, which had traveled from Azerbaijan. Le Monde cited sources close to the case that confirmed Durov's arrest. At the same time, a Bloomberg report noted that Russian Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Maria Zakharova also corroborated the information in a Telegram post. According to reports, France's Office Mineurs, the agency that oversees crimes against minors, issued a search warrant as part of a preliminary investigation into Telegram. AFP reported that the alleged offenses range from fraud, drug trafficking, cyberbullying, and organized crime. Numerous reports note that the investigation is rooted in Telegram's alleged lack of content moderation. Ov9 is coordinating the investigation into Durov and Telegram. The messaging platform's CEO was reportedly expected to appear in court on August 25. Some reports note that Durov could face up to 20 years in prison due to the nature of the alleged offenses. In his interview with Carlson, Durov claims that Telegram had garnered unwanted attention from the FBI and other U.S. security agencies whenever he had entered the country. The Telegram CEO claimed that U.S. officers had attempted to hire one of his engineers during his last visit to the country. There was an attempt by cybersecurity officers or agents to secretly hire my engineer behind my back. They were curious to learn which open-source libraries are integrated into Telegram's app, and they tried to persuade him to use certain open-source tools that would serve as backdoors, Durov told Carlson. The Telegram CEO added that FBI agents would frequently stop him upon entry in the U.S. with questions relating to the operations of the messaging service.
So, Satoshi finds a way to put money in cyberspace. Bitcoin is money. Everything else is credit. Everything you ever process is a digital payment on a computer. When you use Apple Pay or Google Pay or when you used your bank account, you aren't moving money. You were moving credit. And the problem with credit is an IOU. An IOU to who? It's actually an IOU to a stack of counterparties. Basically, for you to cash that check, you need to get the local bank, the correspondent bank, the central bank of the country you're in, the central bank of the other country, the correspondent bank in the other country, and the issuing bank, and they all have to concur. And then the person that actually transferred, they have to not decay or reject the transaction. So sometimes there's 7 intermediaries that might actually represent a credit risk or might actually be a credit default to you. And any one of them can default on their obligation. Now, how long does it take for that to settle? Might take 45 days. So when I tell you I sent you money over the internet, I told you I make a representation, it's an IOU, you won't know whether you have the money for 45 days. Now, what's the problem with that? Well, what if you slammed into a brick wall, but you didn't know you hit the brick wall until 45 days after the collision? What happens to creatures that have no pain receptors? You get squeezed out of the gene pool, generally, because there's no feedback. So the problem with the world today is cyberspace is corrupted by its non-conservativeness. We have too much information. The information is toxic. All of the signals in cyberspace are toxic signals because there is no cost to do anything. What Satoshi gave us was a money, but the money is energy, and the energy is matter, and the matter creates substance, and the substance creates friction. And friction isn't a bad thing. Friction is air resistance, but friction is how you walk across the floor here. If I take the friction away from the floor, you'll fall and hurt yourself. You need the friction.
Tesla founder and ex-owner Elon Musk took to his social media platform on August 24, sharing a previous interview between Durov and independent journalist Tucker Carlson with the hashtag #FreePavel. In the video, Durov said that Musk's takeover of Twitter had been a positive development for technological innovation and the provision of free speech. Ethereum co-founder Vitalik Buterin also weighed in on the topic in reply to an ex-post by American entrepreneur and investor Balaji Srinivasan. Buterin said he has previously criticized Telegram's encryption standards, but said that the initial information relating to charges against the platform looked very bad and worrying for the future of software and comms freedom in Europe. Other prominent figures took to X to weigh in on the developing story as Telegram began to trend on the social media platform. American politician Robert Kennedy Jr., who suspended his U.S. presidential campaign in August 2024, said Durov's arrest highlighted the need to protect platforms that enable free speech and privacy. And do not forget to subscribe to Bitcoin Seller. The most important news will reach your inbox on a daily basis and for free. I do not know why you have not subscribed yet. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more daily updates. Remember, knowledge is power, and we're here to empower you on your financial journey. Until next time, happy investing.